If Milan can beat Fiorentina here at the San Siro, they'll pick up the 15th Scudetto in their history. It's an excited crowd here. 80,000 fans are packing their way into the San Siro and going momentarily very quiet. But the whole match is coming up live for you here on Channel 4. Milan against Fiorentina.
Italiano.
Welcome to Milan, one of the richest cities in Italy, and home to one of the greatest football teams in the world. Back in 1992, when we began our Italian football coverage on Channel 4, Milan were reigning champions. 4 years on and little has changed. Milan are still the dominant force in Italian football and today are on the verge of their 4th title in 5 years. They're 7 points ahead of closest rivals Juventus. They've lost just 2 league games all season, have scored 50 goals in the process, and conceded a miserly 19, the lowest in Serie A. One of the secrets of Milan's success is their strength in depth, and this season coach Fabio Capello has once again amassed a squad of players that is second to none. Although last weekend's draw against Torino wasn't enough to secure the title, a win today will guarantee the Rossoneri their 15th Scudetto. However, it won't be easy. Visitors Fiorentina have for most of the season been Milan's closest rivals in the title race. In recent weeks, the Viola have slipped down the table to 3rd, but they're still keen to prove a point and in the process guarantee themselves European football next season. So with the biggest prize in Italian football at stake, it looks like we're in for a dramatic afternoon.
Thank you, Ken. Well, I seem to be surrounded by devilish figures this afternoon because I've got George Graham here with me now. Now, George, Milan possibly lifting their 4th title in 5 seasons today, an incredible figure, and yet it looks like the man who's done it for them, Coach Capello, is off.
Yes, absolutely amazing. As you say, 4 championships in 5 years. If that happened in England with Alex Ferguson, say, winning the championship this year, all hell would let loose. But it doesn't surprise me on the continent. It's happened before with Ben Hacker in Spain and also Trapattoni when he left Juventus, so it doesn't surprise me.
Do you think that there is kind of a natural lifespan that after maybe 5 years it's time to move on?
In hindsight, yeah, I think so, definitely. I think after 5 years is probably enough.
Okay, excellent. Well, time for us to take a quick break now, but join us for Milan-Fiorentina in a couple of minutes. Welcome back, everyone, to Football Italia. We're back live again this afternoon. If you're just joining us, our match is Milan against Fiorentina. It promises to be a historic afternoon because Milan, if they win today, will have their 4th Scudetto in 5 seasons. You can hear the atmosphere, 78,000 fans. George, we've got some great stadiums back in England, but really little to compare with this kind of atmosphere.
Yeah, there's only one stadium back home, and that would be Wembley. But even here, there's 70,000 people right on top of the ground. So it gives that extra atmosphere.
Right, okay, well, I think we'll go straight over to our commentators now. Amazing level of excitement here. Our hairs would be standing on end, apart from the obvious reasons. But anyway, let's go straight over to our commentators. Don Howe, George Graham's ex-coach, of course, and Peter Brackley.
Thank you, James, and there can be then no more appropriate venue for us to be today than the San Siro Stadium, where the aristocrats of Milan are poised then for yet another championship triumph. Success will mean 4 titles in 5 years. It's been a truly magnificent period in the club's illustrious history. Their record this season of just 3 defeats in 43 consecutive and competitive games, a firm testimony to the undoubted strength of Fabio Capello's squad. Well, let's take a check on the teams, and Fiorentina won't take much comfort from the Milan team sheet. Capello has had his full assembly of star names to choose from. Today's lineup partners Baggio with Ware up front, Savicevic, the Montenegrin returns in a wide role, and Donadoni is preferred in midfield to Iranio. It Here's a look at the Fiorentina side. Then no Batistuta, sadly. He's being rested in readiness for the cup final after playing for Argentina in midweek. Baiano is also out of the side, his normal front-running partner. Away by Carnashali, but the whistle has gone. Today's referee is Walter Cinciarapini of Ascoli. Donadoni with the free kick for Milan. Here is Maldini. And Baggio offside, a former Fiorentina player, of course. Robbie Baggio, he set out in his career with them many seasons ago. A championship winner last season with Juventus. Is he going to do it again with Milan? Well done, Howe, alongside me. The odds are certainly stacked very heavily in Milan's favour.
Very much so, Peter. I mean, the machine marches on. They are relentless in their approach. I mean, they've got the pressing game off exactly right. I mean, every member of the team knows how to press. Every player in the opposition's team will always be, as soon as he receives the ball, there'll be a Milan player right there up against him. In each department, you can't find a fault. Back forward, orchestrated by Baresi, wonderful. In midfield, Albertini, Desai, and up front, Baggio and Weir. I suppose the only criticism you would say is sometimes the individual flair sometimes restricted by the organisation of the team. We don't see the best of Baggio at times.
Milan on the verge then of winning a championship race. They've dominated right through really from the early weeks. Only 2 league defeats all season. Bari away and Inter here in the San Siro. Amoruso. Other challengers have threatened but not consistently. Now only Juventus can stop Milan from collecting their 15th Scudetto. And that can only happen if Capello's team lose all their remaining 3 fixtures, including this one. And Juve, of course, win all theirs. Milan with a 7-point lead at the top. Fiorentina a third. A further 4 points adrift. Then come Parma, Roma, Lazio and Inter. The key fixtures today: Juve away to Roma, Inter to Cagliari, Parma travel to Vicenza, and Lazio are away to Atalanta. This is Costa Curta. And now the imperious Franco Baresi. Is he going to win then his 6th Scudetto with Milan? Fantastic record from Baresi. That's a club record indeed. To plough his way through, but here's Desai, who's been so strong in midfield. Weir now couldn't quite control it.
Gee, Peter, that was a hell of a chance for Weir. His first touch wasn't good enough. He had to knock it forward, and he knocked it too far forward into the keeper. Keeper did well, Toldo, he read it well. But if Weir had got better control on that, he was in for a shot.
And Amoruso was playing him onside then. Fiorentina appealing in vain for an offside flag. Carnashali. This is Robiati. He can be a very dangerous player. That was a terrific save then by Rossi. A rueful look from Ranieri, the coach, down on the bench. Did really well then, Robiati.
It's a great little bit of play by Robiati. And he used his feet well, got it on his left foot, and it was just curling inside that far post.
Piacentini. Confronted by Desai. Now Donadoni. Baggio in pursuit, but Padalino was there. This is Panucci, under threat from Robiati, who doesn't start too often for Fiorentina, but he's such a gifted player. You wonder why he isn't in from the start more often.
Yeah, we just saw that great save again there, Peter, by Rossi. I mean, he's got his critics as Rossi, but that's a fantastic save in this early part of the game.
Paolo Maldini. Donadoni. His last season, of course, with Milan before he moves to the American Football League, playing for the New York Metro Stars. Here's Stefan Schwarz, the Swedish international. Dispossessed though by Savicevic.
George will know all about Schwarz. I mean, had him here at Arsenal last season. He's not the best player. He keeps it simple on the ball. His ability is to win the ball back. He's a fighter in midfield.
Given away by Rui Costa. Just checking around at the back there. I think Amoruso is playing on the left, and Sotil is picking up Baggio. Serena had a man-marking role on Baggio. I remember in the first meeting earlier in the season when they drew 2-2, but Serena's out through injury today. This is Amoruso. Came back last week from suspension after his sending off against Lazio. Just nicking it away then from Robbie Baggio.
See, what they do, Milan, Peter, is they really destroy the opponent's confidence. They close down, and in the end, you get the players don't want the ball. They can't take that type of pressure for 90 minutes. And that's when Milan get on top, and that's when they win their games.
Amoruso with the header. It's 9 years since Fiorentina last beat Milan in this stadium. Long ball from Bonucci, seeking out where. And Sotil was the last defender there.
Sorry to interrupt there, Pete, but they are very direct in their attacks. I mean, as soon as they get possession of the ball, they're looking forward straight away, Milan. And if there's a player on or a ball behind the opponent's defence, the ball's going in there.
Cross from Bonucci. He settles for the throw. Two teams who scored freely this season. They both managed 50 in Serie A. Milan, of course, conceded just 19 in 31 league games and only 9 in the San Siro. George Weah, who had a little spell out recently with a broken arm. But now back to spearhead Milan's attacking sorties today.
He's had a great season, Peter. He really has.
Badgers, of course, has been really interrupted by injuries again, as it was in the last campaign. Here he is now with a free kick. Baresi. Now Donadoni. Maldini. Plenty of bodies in the middle, including George Weah. Bonucci was lurking as well. It was Desai actually who arrived there for that one.
You can see, Peter, as the ball comes across, there's three Milan players attacking that cross.
And Desai has been injured in the process.
It's not very often you get Desai in the box like that. Obviously, he might have instructions today to get in there when it's on. I mean, normally Desai and Albertini stay behind the ball.
Desai, who plays in midfield for Milan, but still a central defender with his country. And he'll be playing for France in that role, I'm sure, in Euro 96. He's missed just the one game in Serie A this season, Desai, and I think that's significant. He missed 12 in the last campaign. And of course, Milan finished up with nothing. Donadoni patrolling that left side. Wonderfully balanced player, Donadoni. That was Desai. Amoruso with the clearance. France are losing his footing. Down by Robiati for Sandro Coes. Rui Costa with the touch. Now Schwartz. This is Coes. Robiati. Padalino. Just showing news of the first goal of the day. It's been scored by Kenneth Addison of Bari. They're leading Udinese by a goal to nil. Padalino with the back pass to Toldo. Interesting comparisons today, of course, between Toldo and Rossi. Toldo set to replace Rossi for Milan next season. Hasn't finally made up his mind yet. He says, though, he won't allow sentiment to influence his decision. Milan have offered him twice the amount of money he'll earn in France over the next 4 years. Donadoni. This is Desai. I'm just hearing that Juventus have got a goal down. Weah. It'll be a goal kick. Del Vecchio has scored for Roma. Del Vecchio with a hat-trick last week on the score sheet today. Hence the roar around the stadium now to celebrate that news.
Peter, I don't know what Fiorentina's game plan is today, but it looks as though they're going to knock it about, hoping to run the legs off Milan, because Milan do spend a lot of energy on the pressing game. Perhaps if they think, well, if they can knock it about and play a lot of one-touch and two-touch, then they might knock the sharpness out of the Milan legs.
Padalino. Amoruso. Away from Savicevic and from Bonucci as well. Good skill shown then by Amoruso. Here's Rui Costa, on for Stefan Schwartz. Oh, agonisingly, just past the post. Bracey furious there with his fellow defenders. Schwartz so close.
Peter, I'm absolutely certain that Rossi hadn't got this one covered. This one was going to get there if it had just curled inside that far post. Great work by Amoruso down this left side from that left back position. Terrific skills for a big fella. I mean, he really is a giant of a man. Terrific on the ball, good feet.
Stefan Schwartz only inches away then from his first goal in Serie A. Offside against George Weah. Bit of a tight one.
Very close one, Peter. The covering centre-back was still in there.
I think it's Baggio looked through the centre rather than Weah.
Definitely not Weah.
Forward by Padalino, but straight to Franco Baresi. His 19th season with Milan, Baresi, and it won't be his last. He's signed on for at least one more year. Padalino, who was being watched with coveted eyes by Milan not so long ago. Van Kelly's header. Straight though to Panucci, and now it's Savicevic. Hasn't really got in the game yet. Albertini to Desai. Milan spreading the play. Donadoni now. Ran into a posse of defenders. This is Coes. Rui Costa. Did well then to evade the challenge. Trying to release back Kelly, but Baresi is there. Ever cool, ever composed.
Rui Costa's got the ability, Peter, to get away from this tight marking. He's super on the ball, lovely feet, changes his balance quite quickly.
And he's going to be part of a very inventive Portuguese midfield in Euro 96.
Yeah.
On by Baresi, but a misplaced pass. Schwartz. Now Albertini. Worked so hard in midfield alongside Desai. Albertini. But again, those Fiorentina defenders have pushed forward and they've caught George Weah offside.
Yeah, he's just got to get on those flat runs. He's got to run across the back four rather than run direct. Wait for the ball to go in first, then make his run.
Amoruso had the strength to hold off Panucci. Rui Costa, back Kelly. Rui Costa again, surely! Rui Costa has scored for Fiorentina. 12 minutes gone. And the early breakthrough. What a shock for Milan.
Well, it was quite amazing, Peter. I mean, he did have the luck of the bounce. I mean, he's in between one or two of the Milan defenders. The ball's played in. He comes back, takes a ricochet, goes into his path again, and he calmly side-foots the ball past Rossi.
Just one Serie A goal in 6 months before today from Rui Costa. But he's tucked that one away with great aplomb. Captaining the side in the absence of Batistuta.
And Costa
as well.
Yeah, and Costa caught you there. He's asking for offside, and yet the ball hit Costa Corta before he went into Rui Costa.
I think maybe a hint of handball, but referee Ciurapini didn't see it that way. Desai, Savicevic, he's through here. It's 1-1. Dejan Savicevic. 2 goals in 2 minutes have ignited this match.
It's always difficult, Peter, here, but you've got to look at the goalkeeper. He's done quite well at first. He's come out on the angle and he's stood up. Savicevic is coming in, and the first thing you think of, he's going to bend this ball inside the far post. The goalkeeper comes and he toe pokes it into the oncoming goalkeeper. Watch. There's a nice position by the goalkeeper. He comes flying there, and there's a toe ender. Might have even gone off the defender. Past Toldo.
Well, they seem to have plenty of defensive cover there, Fiorentina, but the likes of Sotil too easily deceived, and Savicevic has punished them for their slack defending. Milan 1, Fiorentina 1. Here's Stefan Schwartz.
They're saying, coaching, Peter, is you're always vulnerable just after you've scored a goal, and there's no doubt about that, as we've just seen. For that 5 minutes after you've scored a goal, you've got to work harder to get that ball back.
Rui Costa, lovely close control. Amoruso's done well down this left side so far, just overhitting his pass there in search of Robbiati. I think the flag might have been up anyway.
Peter, it's a terrific start to the game. I mean, both teams are going at each other. I mean, I'm very impressed with Fiorentina. I mean, they're getting players forward from midfield. Robiati starts showing his ability up front. We want to see Bankeli in the game.
Donadoni up towards Baggio. Here's Weah. Oh dear. Yes, we're wondering what their attitude might be today, Fiorentina. Obviously, the championship is lost, and they've got the cup final coming up. But in fairness to them, they've come out in very positive fashion.
Peter, they're having a go.
This is Sotil. He was coming in. Lazio have taken the lead away to Atalanta. An own goal by Valentini. Lazio, of course, one of the teams chasing a European place. And it could be that as low as 7th could guarantee a UEFA Cup position next season. Inter in that spot at the moment. Above them, Lazio, Roma, Parma, Fiorentina, and then the top two, Juventus and Milan. Juve, if you've joined us late, are a goal down away to Roma. Del Vecchio with that early strike. 1-1 here at the San Siro.
I also think, Peter, that sometimes when the top notches are not playing, like the Batistutas we've seen today, it does stimulate the other players to have a go and say, look, we're not going to miss him. We can play. You know, sometimes we make more out of these Batistutas and the great players. And there's some good players around them. They make them play, in fact.
This is Christian Panucci. A bit ambitious there. Collected by Piacentini. Then Padalino with the back pass. Good header by Desai. Sotil, former Torino defender. Fairly rare start for him. They've had some reshuffling to do in the absence of Serena. Bari are now 2-1 up at home to Udinese. Parente with the second goal there, after Marino had equalised. Bari 2, Udinese 1. And Piacenza are leading Padova by a goal to 0. Caccia the scorer there. Clubs down near the foot of the table. Padova have already been relegated, of course. Above them, Torino, Cremonese and Bari are in deep trouble. Another marginal decision that has gone against Milan and against Robbie Baggio.
Yeah.
But it's the correct one.
It's right, but it's a little bit tight for me, you know, all right, it's working up to yet, but you hope it worked for 90 minutes.
Robiati, clever touch. And that'll be a free kick, and I would think a caution too. And the foul on Robiati. And that will be a suspension looming now for Costa Curta, who was the offender. But generally he's been so sound and solid at the back alongside Baresi. He may have been master and pupil in the earlier years, but he's come on so well, Costa Curta, to develop into an outstanding defender in his own right. Rui Costa. Carnashali. On by Maldini. Fiorentina have lost their last 2 away games now, including that 4-0 thrashing by Lazio. But they've started this game in encouraging fashion. Donadoni. This is Desai. Amoruso blocking the progress then of Savicevic, who's featured in far more games this season than any of his other campaigns with Milan. Yet to appear on the losing side too this season, Savicevic. He's missed all 3 of those games that they've lost. Desai to Albertini. Fiorentina a bit careless in giving the ball away. This is Carnashali. Baresi. Desai. Got his angles wrong there. Getting a bit of an ear bashing from Savicevic. Coming up to 20 minutes played now in the first half. eventful so far. Coes. Here's Sotil. Now Robiati. Baresi. Stefan Schwartz turning away from Desai. Good block by the Frenchman.
Yeah, he's got to get it and give it, Stefan Schwartz. He hasn't got the ability on the ball to start twisting and turning with it. He gets the balls back, he gets them and he gives them to the players who can play.
Savicevic. Elegantly through, off goes Ware. He's so strong. Just brushed Sotil aside there. He's formidable, isn't he?
What a shame. He made a great run down this right flank, got inside the box and then lost his balance. I think Capello there thinks it's a penalty. Oh no, all right, there was bumping and boring, but I don't think many referees are going to give a penalty for that.
Albertini for Milan. In the end, it was a free kick against George Weah. Baggio to Savicevic, whose goal has pulled his team level. His 6th in Serie A this season. Amoruso. Robiati. His chance then to shine today in the absence of Batistuta and Baiano. Padalino. Now it's Albertini for Milan. Asking a lot of Weah, but he was up for the task again. Oh, he had the confidence to try it on, didn't he?
Peter, he will graft, and on the end of it, he has got ability. But I mean, he'll run left flank, he'll run right flank. I mean, the last time we saw him, when he got knocked over in the box, he made a run down the right flank. This time he's running down the left flank. He's a great player for work. I mean, he shows players the amount of work he can put in and still have ability on the end of it.
Coes. Here's Kardashiali. Now Coes again. Rui Costa stepped on for Kelly. Just showed too much of that to Desai. And the free kick hasn't been given. The referee has said play on. Desai. Baggio offside, but again, it was pretty close. Well, George Graham was watching the game with us today. George, what have you made of it so far?
Well, I think the Fiorentina back four, they're really taking chances playing the offside. And I think the young centre-back who's come in, Sotil, who was previously with Torino, he is really a suspect. And if we can get little channel balls down Fiorentina's left, I think there's opportunities there for Milan to score, especially with Weah making these great runs. But the offside game, they're really chancing it, they're really taking chances on it.
OK, George, we'll catch you again a little later on. Maldini spotted Savicevic. Such an accurate pass too from Maldini. So much more than just a defender. Savicevic now wriggling past the tackles, but he couldn't take them all on. Amoruso to Stefan Schwartz, who's one booking away from a suspension. Well, that was his free kick. Desai working hard to win the ball back for Milan. They just don't give you any time to settle at all. On by Baresi, Savicevic. Now Donadoni. Baresi, who's gone forward here. Baresi, oh!
Well, that's amazing. I mean, he's won the ball at the back of Bianchelli. He's then broke on and got on his run. The play's been switched to the left, and then they find him right on the back post on a diagonal ball, and obviously he's not used to being in this position.
Well, nonetheless, a fantastic run by Franco Baresi.
I mean, it was a great chance. All he got to do really was get it inside that far post.
He's only managed the one goal in Serie A in 6 seasons. What was he doing up there? Well, Ranieri's team a little lucky, as they say on level terms.
As they say, Peter, he'd have a nosebleed playing that far up the pitch.
And how the crowd savoured that moment then. 80,000 plus in the San Siro today. Tremendous atmosphere. And how they would have relished then a goal from Franco Baresi. Maldini. On by Coes to Piacentini. Garnashali. Milan have kept clean sheets in 4 of their last 6 in the league now. So tight defensively. Fiorentina have already broken them down once. Away by Costa Curta to Savicevic. Good tackle then by Sandro Coes. Rui Costa drifting away from Albertini. Robiati. Good tackle though by Maldini. Well, I thought it was a fair tackle. The referee says no, it's a foul.
Yeah, when he goes in, Maldini, he really means it. There's no messing about. They're just playing with one up, Fiorentina. I mean, Robiati's coming deep with Rui Costa. But the new lad in the side, Kelly, he's not getting hold of the ball. He's finding it very difficult up there by himself.
Amoruso, again showing some exquisite close control. Rui Costa, delightful work by him. Garnashali, Amoruso's continued his run. Kelly was in the middle as well. But again, that Milan defence standing firm.
I mean, he's the fella to get the ball to Fiorentina. Get it to Rui Costa.
He can play, can't he?
It's magic on the ball, Peter. He can make himself time and space, and then he lays off a good pass.
Sotil to Amoruso. Piacentini. Rui Costa hadn't read his intentions then. This is Dejan Savicevic. Wears away. Well done, Toldo.
Yeah, well, that's what George was saying. You know, this offside. If you don't, it's too close really to be good offside. And Toldo got them out of trouble. Great sweeping behind the defence. Sorry, Peter.
Yes, that was terrific anticipation by Toldo. Fiorentina's only ever present this season. 11 clean sheets, not today though. But I wonder, will he be wearing a Milan jersey next season? It seems that way. He's number 2 in the Italian squad, Toldo. Talk now that Luca Bucci may be replaced as the 3rd member of the party by Tali Latella of Napoli. Peruzzi of Juventus, of course, is the number 1. But there is a doubt about him injury-wise. This is Donadoni. And it's a goal kick to Fiorentina. They won 5 times away in Serie A this season. They last against Inter, of course, in this same stadium a month ago when they kept their championship hopes alive, but they've fallen away against Sitz. And surely nothing now is going to stop Milan from yet another championship. Just to recap, a draw would be enough today, whatever Juventus do, and they are still trailing by 0-0, Juve, away to Roma. Sotil with Weah. Costa Curta. Just to clarify that point, it would actually be a playoff, of course, if Milan draw today and Juve win, and then Milan lose the other game. Still many permutations to go, but the gist of it is, if Milan win, nothing Juve can do would matter. Baresi. Donadoni. Now Baresi. Garnashali to Piacentini. Baggio. Couldn't get away from Padolino. And wake up Fiorentina on the break. Robbiati's pass to Coes. Some thoughtful approach play here from Fiorentina. Rui Costa just changing the angle then. An unfortunate stumble.
I always wonder about Baggio and playing here in Milan, Peter. He doesn't seem to get in the game. He doesn't seem to do the things he did for Juventus last year. No, he wants the balls to his feet. He doesn't want to chase on down the flanks. No, he wants to come off and just come back and knit in with midfield and take part in the midfield build-up. He wants the balls like he's got it now to his feet.
Baggio, great movement here from Milan. Two in the centre. Donadoni. Made off by Brackley. Maldini to Donadoni. Offside. And he is very much overworked, the linesman.
But he was right, Peter.
Yeah, he's spot on again.
Yeah. He's having a good game, this linesman on this right wing. You know, he's been pretty accurate all the way through. You know, he's getting a lot of fans down his neck all the time, and the back of his neck, letting him know how they feel about things.
Now Robbiati is offside at the other end of the field.
See, what Robbiati's doing, Peter, he's rotating with Rui Costa. He's sometimes coming deep, perhaps even deep past the midfield players. But obviously, it's leaving Brackley up there by himself. Rui Costa's not then getting forward. Like, he's come deep now, Rui Costa, he's picking this one up.
Brackley. A speculative shot, and well wide of goal.
Yeah, and really, he's forced into that shot because he's surrounded by red and black shirts. And the lad's up there by himself. He needs quicker support. He needs to be able to be played off one touch.
Brackley, remember who is covering for Batistuta. Rui Costa. Trying to unsettle Desai, which is no easy task. But the referee says that's a foul. Arms flailing everywhere from both players. But Desai, in the eyes of the referee, was the culprit then. So here's a chance, maybe for Rui Costa. Certainly supervising things. Schwarz isn't interested. Amoruso can strike a ball from distance. The player to the right of your picture there.
I always wonder when it's this distance whether you need a wall.
Here is Amoruso! Not far away. And Rossi must have got a touch on it there.
I sometimes think from that distance, like, it pushes the goalkeeper to one side of his goals. Now, if it was in practice and someone was shooting from that distance, he wouldn't worry about a wall, and he'd take the centre of the goal.
It was actually a splendid save by Rossi. Just got his fingertips to it at the last moment. Schwarz. Out by Desai. This is Coes. Rui Costa. Did really well then, Rui Costa. Supplied the cross too. Always looks comfortable on the ball, Rui Costa. So well balanced. He's had his differences, of course, with Coach Ranieri this season. He's been taken off many, many times, to his dismay. But he's going to be a central character this afternoon. So far, so good, though, for Fiorentina. Holding the champions-elect 1-1 in the San Siro. Just over 10 minutes remaining in this first period. This is Rui Costa, who's injured. Now, George Graham, you've got a point to make, I think, about the midfield today.
Yeah, it's quite interesting, actually. We're talking about Rui Costa, who's an out-and-out creative midfield player, and yet he's playing against two, what I would say, all-round midfield players in Desai and Albertini, and yet 3 of them play for their actual countries. And it's quite fascinating. You're seeing the Milan midfield, who arguably are the top team over the last decade, and they've not really got an out-and-out creative player.
Fair point. Well, this is Rui Costa here, and Fiorentina will be very, very anxious to return him to the fray as soon as possible. Meantime, Atalanta have now equalised against Lazio Morfeo to make it 1-1.
The point George Graham was making there, Peter, was, and he's right, is that it's how midfield players are brought up in terms of the club's way of playing the game. And if you're virtually getting through midfield as quick as you possibly can, so you bring up midfield players who are one-touch and two-touch players. Obviously, they do lack the skills of a playmaker, like Rui Costa, who's coming back on the pitch now. Now, obviously, in the clubs he played for in Portugal when he was a kid, he held on to the ball. He twisted and turned and made himself time and space. But he's a different type of player. He's the playmaking style.
Sotil with the clearance. Not sure how comfortable Rui Costa is. He's certainly limping. They really can't afford to lose him, though. Brackley. In goes Albertini. This is Savicevic. Good interception, though, by Sotil. Coes. Now Schwarz to Rui Costa. I think he'll look to run off that injury. Here he is now. Robiati. Well, Rui Costa just let it run through, but there was no teammate behind him. Only Baggio. Donadoni. Baresi going forward again. Fancies a goal today, I think. Weah. Padalino had the strength to hold him off.
Yeah, it was
obstruction.
Yeah, he got across his pathway and he stopped him running down that left flank. Got his arms across his chest as well.
And how on earth do you stop him, Don?
Big, powerful man. And he's another one. He wants to get behind you. He wants to go past that defender. He wants to get to the byline. He wants to get in a position to take a shot at goal.
Baggio with the free kick. Not deep enough. It goes Donadoni. This is Sotil. Maldini challenging him, and the referee has ruled against him. That looked a bit harsh.
Yep. He's saying I got the ball. He's showing the referee the ball, that I've gone for the ball and got my foot on the ball. Now I've got it. And he's right.
Yeah, he doesn't mistime it very often, does he, Maldini? And I don't think he did that. Wonderful player. Karaciali. 7 minutes to go in the first half, and Fiorentina giving a really good account of themselves so far. Milan will be champions if they win. Beyond that, I'm not going to say, because I keep getting it muddled, so let's keep it at that. Donna work it out for me. Amoruso. Schwarz. Confronted by Desai and illegally.
Yeah, Panucci saying he took a dive, and I tend to agree with him. He'd really lost possession of the ball had got away from him. I suppose Stefan Schwarz is a nice balance with Rui Costa. You know, the one who can play on the ball and the other one who gets it and gives it to him.
Amoruso maybe lining up another crack at goal then from here. Here is Amoruso, and it's squirmed away from Rossi, who wasn't too happy about the cover in front of him.
He wanted the shot closing down to start with, and the ball was a low ball, and it just took that bounce in front of his knees.
Well, he's had another outstanding season, Rossi. Can't force his way back into the Italian squad, not at the moment anyway. Rui Costa with Robiati, who's onside. No, he's not. No, the flag was up.
No, you're not going to get away with that with Milan. It's no issue. And they're reversing the ball back there. and it's been played backwards. As the ball is played deep, then they're coming out. Baresi's bringing them up at least to the penalty spot.
Inside the last 5 minutes of the first half. Costa Quarta to Maldini. Rui Costa, Karnashali, now Panucci. Baggio's run, but a routine save really for the giant figure of Toldo.
That young goalkeeper Toldo has got a terrific starting position. You know, he's virtually playing on his penalty spot most of the time. Because anything that's played over the top of the defence, centrally, he'll come out and sweep it up quite easily.
Laid off by Amoruso to Padalino. Now Costa Curta has been penalised. Reached his 30th birthday this week, Costa Curta. And he will certainly be a first choice for the Italians for Euro 96. Playing in the heart of the back line. Bit too robust there with his challenge on Bankeli.
But it was like an octopus, wasn't it, that challenge? Wasn't it? It was a crazy challenge. And on the way back, Costa Curta's having to go at the referee.
Now Donadoni is in trouble. So a free kick here to Fiorentina. Padalino making his way up from the back. Amoruso in there too. This is Robbiati. Baresi to head it out. Only his father was Rui Costa. Oh dear.
Obviously, he's had a try at goal, but really he should be playing that ball out wide again. That's his only space. You know, he's being closed down. He's come outside the D, and they're coming out to him like a flash, the Milan players. He's got to go wide with that ball and go around the corner again.
But I've certainly been impressed by Fiorentina's attitude in this first half. We were wondering if they would hold something back with the Italian Cup final coming up, the first leg next Thursday. And of course, they haven't won a trophy for a long, long time. 1975, their last honour, when they did indeed beat Milan to win the Italian Cup. But they're certainly giving Milan a match.
Yes, they are. It's been a good first half performance, good show by Fiorentina.
Sloppy touch by Baggio. Desai almost made something of it. Here's Stefan Schwarz. But the angle was wrong then in search of Bankeli. The one outright striker that they're employing today. But there's plenty of support coming through from midfield. Not this time. Brilliantly broken up then by Costa Curta. Donadoni to Weah. Karnashali went charging into him. Didn't bat an eyelid though, Weah.
He's as tough as old boots, Peter. He gets up and gets on with it.
Desai, Weah. Well, he's onside. Who's offside there?
He was offside to start with, Peter. He backed off, yeah. He tried to back in and get himself onside, but he just didn't make it. He'd gone forward and he knew the diagonal pass was coming and he tried to get back onside. Obviously the referee's got the linesman got his flag up.
Karnashali. This is Padalino. Careless distribution by Amoruso. Robbiati has won it back though. Then Rui Costa. Off goes Bankeli. Baresi and Costa Curta policing Bankeli.
Yeah, it's a clever little ball by Rui Costa. He could have jabbed his foot on the ball, put a bit of height on it. If it had got him behind Baresi, there'd have been a lot of stop on it. Bankeli would have caught it up.
2 minutes of time to be played, extra time that is, injury time at the end of the first half. Padalino, Carnashali. The decision again has gone Fiorentina's way. Robiati has been pretty lively.
He's moved about very well. He's been very mobile. He's come and knitting with midfield. He's gone out wide. The only thing I would say to him is get up to Kelly as often as you can. Give the lad a little bit more support.
Baresi again breaking from the back. Donadoni now. Baggio is furthest forward. Donadoni switching the play to find Christian Panucci. Costa Quarta. Wide to Donadoni. Donadoni's cross. Baggio couldn't get to it. Felt he was impeded. No sympathy from the referee. Capello was out of his seat again.
No doubt about it. The defender went at Baggio rather than attack the ball.
Here's Weah. His foot was high, but it's a penalty. Down went George Weah, and the referee, no hesitation, pointed to the spot. I thought the foot was high from Weah. I think it was Padalino who clashed with him.
Peter, he got there first, George Weah, and he flicks it over the defender and goes in the box. And really, he's just caught the back of the defender. I don't think the defender could possibly mean that. He does well to flick it over the defender, and then he collides with his heels at the back of the defender. I think he's quite surprised himself that it was a penalty.
Well, he certainly had an inquisitive, inquiring look on his face, George Weah. But the penalty has been given by Cincinnati. Fiorentina still arguing as Roberto Baggio tries to compose himself now. He scored from a penalty in the 2-2 between the two teams earlier in the season. Fiorentina, his first club. And he's beaten Toldo comfortably. 2-1 to Milan.
Well, this is what he is good at. These penalties, he can slot these away quite easily. And Baggio, all right, he's missed the occasion one, but 9 times out of 10, he sticks it in the corner. But I just feel as though Milan are very lucky to go in at half-time, winning 2-1. I mean, not only did he flick the ball over the defender, George Weah, I don't know whether he'd even caught the ball up. I mean, the ball's either going to go off the pitch or go into Toldo.
Well, it was a controversial decision, but Baggio didn't let that worry him in any way. Beautifully taken penalty kick. No chance there for Toldo. Milan are in front. And the half-time whistle has been blown now by Cincinnati. So, Milan have the advantage now. Baggio had a pretty quiet first half in truth, but he's come up trumps there right on the half-time whistle with a second goal. Rui Costa having given Fiorentina the lead, Savicevic replying almost instantly. And now at half-time in the San Siro Stadium, it's Milan 2, Fiorentina 1. We'll be back in a couple of minutes' time.
So welcome back everyone to the San Siro. It's half-time here between Milan and Fiorentina. Let's round up the half-time scores. Giorgio back in costume there, as you can see. Atalanta are 1-1 now with Lazio. Morfeo scored for Atalanta after an own goal from Valentini earlier on, put the visitors ahead. Bari 3-1 with Udinese. Anderson and 2 from Parenti for the Baresi. Udinese, though, replying with just 1 from Marino. Cagliari 0-0 with Inter. Milan 2-1 up against Fiorentina, as we saw earlier. Savicevic and a Baggio penalty after that goal from Rui Costa after 7 minutes. Napoli 0-0 with Sampdoria. Piacenza 2-0 up at home to Padova. Caccia and Capellini, the scorers there. And down in Roma, down in the capital, Marco Del Vecchio has put the local side ahead. And if that result stays the way it is, any result will do for Milan today. They can lose and still be crowned champions this afternoon. The other two games there, Torino 1-0 up at home to Cremonese, a goal from Mezzano, and Vicenza Parma 0-0. Well, we'll be getting all the final scores and the second half of Milan-Fiorentina, of course, shortly. Right now, though, it's time for a competition. It's our annual Player of the Year award, and with more details, here's Ken.
Coming up, the candidates for Channel 4's Player of the Year. Make your choice and you could be on your way to Italy. Our first nominee is Gianluca Vialli, a player who once again has been Juve's main source of inspiration in what could be another glorious season. Milan's George Weah has also made a habit of scoring vital goals, and after an incredible debut season in Serie A, became the first African to be crowned World and European Player of the Year. Our third candidate also plays for Milan. Paolo Maldini, the world's greatest left-back, has once again been the most consistent performer in Serie A's greatest defence. Striker Marco Branca didn't join Inter until November, but since then his amazing scoring exploits have played a major part in the club's impressive second half of the season. Sampdoria have, like Inter, bounced back from a disappointing start, and the goals of Enrico Chiesa, the hottest property in Italian football, have been a telling factor. Our final Player of the Year contender is one of the season's surprise stars. Bari's Igor Proti could finish as Serie A's leading scorer, which, considering the club's relegation problems, is a fantastic achievement. So, a reminder of our 6 nominees. Our winning player will be the one who amasses the most votes, and you can make your selection by calling 0891 44 77 88, and you have the chance to win a trip to a top Italian game. All you have to do is to cast your vote and tell us who won last year's Player of the Year competition. Was it A, Gianluca Vialli, or B, Roberto Baggio? Our winner will be chosen at random from the correct entries, and lines close at midnight on the 8th of May. After the break, we'll be finding out whether Milan will finish the afternoon as Italian champions. So, see you in a couple of minutes.
Welcome back, everyone, to the San Siro. The players coming back out on the pitch now for the second half. Very quickly, though, George, what a mental penalty there.
Oh, what a very, very fortunate decision, especially right on half-time to go 2-1 up. Very fortunate, very nervous performance by Milan.
Right.
But I'm sure that sort of that great break would give them the impetus to go on and do
Well,
it.
basically, I mean, Weah, just looking at the replay, Weah just basically clipped quite innocently the...
Well, he actually got to the ball first, flicked it over the centre-half's head, and I thought it just clashed into him accidentally. I mean, it happens so many times in the game, and the play just goes on. But to get a penalty right on half-time... Oh.
Okay, so Milan's set up for the win at the moment. Juve are actually losing down in the capital, down in Rome, as we mentioned just during the break there. So whatever happens today, Milan, if that stays the same result down in the capital, whatever happens today, Milan will lift the trophy. But they want to go out winning, don't they?
Oh, yes. I mean, it's been, as I say, a nervous performance in the first half. They're 2-1 up, so they say, probably let's go out and do it in a bit of style. They can play a lot better than that, and I'm sure they will in the second half.
Well, let's hope so. Let's go across now for the second half to our commentators, Don Howe and Peter Brackley.
Thank you, James. Yes, hopefully they will turn on the style in the second half. Certainly, though, Don, looking at that penalty, the replay again, it looked a harsh decision, didn't it? I have to say that.
Without doubt. I mean, to start with, you wouldn't even say it was right inside the box.
Oh.
I mean, when he gets his touch, George Weah, he's just outside the box. And then there's the collision once the ball's gone with the defender.
Well, it's known as the Lion's Den, that end of the field. And 1 or 2 decisions have gone Milan's way, which have been a bit dubious. And I reckon that was very controversial, to put it mildly. Certainly Fiorentina saw it that way. So away then go Milan, 45 minutes away from yet another championship triumph. Costa Quarta to Franco Baresi. Savicevic and Baggio with a penalty then. The scores for Milan after Rui Costa had given Fiorentina an early lead. Weah's header, now Sotil. Fiorentina also beat Inter, of course, here in the stadium in the semi-final of the Italian Cup. So they have been victors on this pitch this season. They have a lot to do to turn this game round in the second half, now that Milan have edged in front. Robiati. Maldini assisted by Baresi, breaking up that potential threat. Here's Baresi again. Approaching now his 36th birthday. Donadoni being harried there by Piacentini. Weah, play on, says referee Cincinnapini. Still George Weah. Desai. Savicevic. Elegantly wide to Panucci. Almost a measured cross then as Baggio arrived in the centre.
Yeah, great interception. Coming right across. Panucci's done well to get down that right flank. Coming right across the edge of this, just inside the edge of the 6-yard box. It's just a tap-in for Baggio if he gets there. Good interception by Soto.
Maldini has come forward. He's in the 6-yard area trying to block the view of Toldo. In came Desai at the far post. And I think there was some pushing there.
Yeah, he's done well there. Desai's come round the back of the bunch. They've all gone towards the penalty spot. He comes round the back there. Not easy to keep those down. It comes quickly, you see it late.
Milan back in the San Siro after 3 successive away matches, from which they collected 7 points out of a possible 9 to step up their title bid and really shake off the challengers, one of whom had been Fiorentina. $79,415 the official attendance today. Takings of 3 billion lira, and Don will work out what that is from it. That's about 2 million. You'd work that out on your
calculator. What is it to the
Don?
pound now? About 2,000 to the pound, Peter?
You tell me.
Something like that.
Robiati. Oh, it was too short though. Left Rui Costa struggling. Away goes Baggio. Drifting past Piacentini. Savicevic. The referee has allowed the advantage. The cross by Panucci and away by Carnashali.
Did ever so well there, the referee. Played the advantage rule. It's definitely a foul on Savicevic, but he's come running on into Panucci.
Padalino, the man who sent in tumbling. I thought for a second he'd lost it there, Savicevic. He's such a clever player.
He is a fantastically clever player, but he doesn't get in the game enough for me, Peter. I mean, he's an outstanding player, Savicevic. Wonderful skills. Can run at defenders, can take defenders, good finisher, and yet he's quite content to be 20 minutes out of the game, never getting a kick.
And he's obviously a big game player, as we remember from the European Cup final when he helped destroy Barcelona.
Peter, there's no question marks about his ability. It's just that little bit more enthusiasm to want to keep himself in the game.
Here is Savicevic now. Trying to release George Weah, but Toldo is there. Toldo, who kept his first clean sheet in Serie A for 2 months last week, but beaten twice today by Savicevic and the penalty from Roberto Baggio. Albertini. He'll be in the heart of the midfield for the Italian team in Euro 96, probably alongside Di Matteo of Lazio. Down goes Robiati, fouled by Savicevic. Well, at least he's taking your advice, Don, and getting involved.
Yeah, well, when you do play wide, I've got to say this, you do need service as well. But in general, I mean, because they change the play so often, Milan, the wingers do get into the game.
Desai. Wide of him is Maldini. Now Donadoni. Baggio. Defender streaming forward, that's Albertini. A perfectly weighted pass to Savicevic. Onto that favoured left foot, but Amoruso had the better of him. Albertini. Strong start to the second half from Milan. But that's too long for Weah.
See, in terms of the Milan build-ups, yes, they do play direct every now and again, and they get the ball forward early, but they never hesitate to change the play. If they get down the left side, Desai and Albertini, it's a nice little turning skill, and then they sweep it out to the far winger. So they do get the service to do things. What they're trying to do all the time with Savicevic, Fiorentina, is to keep him on his right foot. And they know he's going to check back onto that left foot all the time.
Stefan Schwarz. And that's out of play for a throw to Milan. Is it or was a free kick? No, it's a free kick, in fact, given by Cinciarapini, the referee, who didn't endear himself to Fiorentina by giving that penalty just before half-time. Donadoni. Milan, you feel in control, thanks to that second goal, albeit a controversial one from Baggio. Padalino, on by Schwarz. Kelly was after it, but he's had a real struggle on up front. Back Kelly, often a lone figure against such cultured defenders as Costa Curta and Baresi. It's no easy task. Only his third start for Fiorentina this season in Serie A. Kelly. Garashali. Kelly hoping Robbiati was behind him, but he wasn't directly so. In goes Kelly, as Costa Curta almost made a hash of his clearance then.
Oh, looky there. Look at the bounce. If it had gone forward to Kelly, he would have been in.
He's got 4 goals in Serie A. Kelly, from his relatively brief appearances. He got 2 on the opening day when he came on as a sub. Here's Desai. Good touch by Savicevic. Maldini. The volume of noise ever increasing around the stadium. Donadoni trying to thread it through, can't do so. Padalino. Again impressive for Fiorentina today. Here's Garashali. Padalino again. The block by Desai. Look how hard he's prepared to work there. Other eyebrows were raised on when he first came to Milan, and Capello said, I'm going to play him in midfield, but my word, he's answered his critics.
Well, we all thought he'd play in there with Baresi, and he would be taught how to play centre-back. And all of a sudden, he's pushed into midfield with Albertini. They've worked on his passing ability and keep it simple and give it early. I mean, there's no here again, he's another player that you never think about whether he's going to compete or not, or whether he's going to win the ball back. He just does that naturally. You take that for granted.
Here's Weah from that instinctive pass by Donadoni. Great strength again shown by Weah, and he almost sent Savicevic away. Amoruso with the interception. In goes Weah now. More trouble brewing here for Fiorentina. Savicevic checking out to the right side. Here he is now. Toldo with a save. Baggio and Weah. Straight at Padalino. A real escape then for Fiorentina.
Great goalkeeping. That ball across the 6-yard box. If the keeper doesn't get his hand to it, again, it's a tapping on the back post for Baggio.
Another rapier attack from Milan. Baggio laying it back to Weah. And that was an important challenge by Padalino.
Yeah, it was good blocking now. They keep getting down this right side now and finding the ways in, Milan.
Yellow card for Christian Parucci.
He's getting forward all the time, Panucci, and he's getting down there with Savicevic. And they are getting to the back of that left side of Fiorentina.
Desai finding Weah. Maldini. Did really well then, Maldini. The challenge by Toldo was a fair one. Just got there in time. to deny Baggio.
Peter, that was brilliant goalkeeping. He's read the diagonal ball, Baggio's got the ball down, and there's Toldo to make a foot challenge.
It was like a sweeper then.
Brilliant.
Bonucci to Savicevic. Bonucci in support. Baggio's in the centre, so was Weah. The tackle coming in though from Stefan Schwartz to deprive him of an opening. And that's why Bonucci received that yellow card. Seems to be finding his best form again, Bonucci, after losing his way a little earlier in the season, out of favour with Arrigo Sacchi, the Italian national coach. So he's no longer in the senior party, not for the moment anyway. Carnasciali to clear, but only to Franco Baresi. Costa Quarta. Onside here. Baggio. Bonucci. It'll fall for Donadoni. Milan really applying the pressure now. Weah. Offside Maldini.
Yeah, I mean, this young fella in goal, Toldo, I can understand why they're picking him for Italy now. I mean, because you can push up, you can play offside, as they are here. And it's because you've got this goalkeeper who can read the ball, he can read the through balls, he can read the balls over the back of the defence. He can come out and challenge people with his feet. I mean, you can play offside with a goalkeeper like this, and you've got a chance of getting away with it.
Carnasciali. Back Kelly to Rui Costa. Terrific block there by Baresi.
It's Rui Costa's first touch this second half. He's not getting himself in the game.
Well, he certainly did in the first half. Gave Fiorentina that lead. But Milan retaliated so quickly. Back off Baggio. Costa Quarta. Throw to Milan. Costa Quarta has taken very quickly. Savicevic. Away from Schwartz. Oh, the referee. I think in fairness to him, he thought that Savicevic had lost his balance there.
I've got to say this. I thought Schwartz was in trouble. Yeah, Savicevic has grabbed hold of his shoulder and pulled him back.
Yes, the free kick was given to Fiorentina, so I was wrong there. Savicevic was adjudged to be the offender. That was handled then. What do you make of this man, Baresi, Don? He just seems to go on forever.
He's the type of play you need in your defence. If you work on organisation in the back four, whether you squeeze up, whether you play offside, or whether you don't play offside, whether you drop it, he's in control. You know, he's the field marshal. All the other three players have to do in the defence is just watch him and do exactly what he tells them to do. And they'll do it, they'll do the job. I mean, I was lucky when I was at the Arsenal, we had Frank McClinton, who did a similar job. And it's wonderful to have a player like that in your side.
Great skill by Desai.
I think George Graham also would said the same things about Tony Adams. You know, they go out there with responsibility on their shoulders. They know how to organise the back four for you. The work you do in training, they carry it out.
Still has such an appetite for the game, Franco Baresi. Now he's back organising the defence. Rui Costa probing at them, but he can't get through, and Costa Quarta just plays it out simply there to Donadoni. Now Baggio. He has Savicevic away to his right. Here is Savicevic. All rather too congested there, though. Savicevic. Bonucci with Weah.
He played a very good 1-2 there, Bonucci. I don't know why George Weah didn't give him it back one touch. Why he's holding on to the ball there. Bonucci was in.
Savicevic. Robust tackle from Amoruso. Savicevic was after him though. Nearly caught him in possession too. Just clipped his heels then, I think. An hour gone. Milan heading towards another championship.
Well, Pity, you know, you get this wave after wave of attack by Milan. I mean, they're fantastically fit. They can keep getting the ball forward, and they keep coming at you and keep coming at you. And obviously, in time, they find a way and they break it down.
Schwarz. Lazio have now taken the lead away to Atalanta. 2-1, it's Signori with his 23rd in Serie A this season. And Roma are now 2-up against Juventus. Moriero with a second goal. So surely now nothing is going to prevent Milan from winning the title today. And certainly not to complicate things if it stays this way. They certainly will. Offside, Robbiati, maybe Brackley as well. So many imponderables, but the one definite fact is if Milan win, they are champions.
He was dreaming a little bit there, Maldini. He was the one who might have been playing Kelly on.
Desai. Here's Panucci. And the news clearly has filtered through that Moriero has got that second goal for Roma. Juventus in deep trouble, 2-0 down. No question, Don, we're watching the champions today.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. You can never take anything for granted in football. It looks like that.
Brackley. He's watched it on well to Rui Costa. Down goes Robbiati as he was challenged by Maldini. And it is a penalty.
Well, from our position, Peter, it looked like a push in the back on Robbiati as they go into that ball played across the edge of the 6-yard box. It looks as though Maldini's banged into the back of him.
Rui Costa has seen Robbiati there in the middle. Well, he's dived theatrically, but was he caught by Maldini? The referee thought so. Walter Cincinnapini.
And the only thing about it, Peter, is whether Robbiati was offside. Because he is goal side of Maldini, and Maldini was the last defender.
Rui Costa has the chance then of bringing his team back level. He scored the first goal. Is he going to do it again? Rui Costa against Rossi. Saved it, he's guessed correctly. Superb reactions there from Sebastiano Rossi. And maybe now that's Fiorentina's last chance of saving this game.
Well, Peter, I mean, it's so casual, this. There's no pace in the ball there. It gives Rossi time to get across and get it behind the ball. Penalties have got to be paced into the net. You haven't got to give the goalkeeper a chance to get across to the ball.
Iranio about to come on for Milan, who managed to preserve their 2-1 advantage. They are very, very indebted to the expertise of Sebastiano Rossi. Sottil. Fiorentina have a pretty dreadful record here down the years. In almost 60 previous Serie A games away to Milan, they've won just 5. And I think their chance has gone today of adding to that tally. Heroics from Rossi, it stays at 2-1. Piacentini with a throw. Robbiati, the man who was brought down by Maldini. Rui Costa stepped on to Robbiati. Who's reading the play? Franco Baresi.
Well, you've got to give all credit to Rossi. I mean, it's a great save at an important stage in the game. I mean, if they score off that, it's now 2 each. Who knows which way it's going to go? It's a great save by Rossi, no doubt about it. The only thing about it was Rui Costa was so casual, and there's no pace in his kick.
Parolino to tidy up for Fiorentina, but there's an offside decision anyway. Carnashali on for Rui Costa. Badger, who showed Rui Costa how it should be done at the end of the first half. 2 debatable penalty decisions maybe. Carnashali with the cross, dealt with by Costa Curta. Coes now to Carnashali again. Rui Costa trying to create something, but it's so easily broken up by Desai. Off goes Baggio. Weah making the run through the middle. Savicevic to his right. And Weah had to backtrack then to avoid the offside flag. Here's Weah now. Savicevic drifting through, great skill. Baggio almost on the end of it. Donadoni. And then laid off to Albertini off the post. Savicevic. How did Fiorentina survive? Breathtaking football then from Milan. Maybe Donadoni should have had a shot, but Albertini certainly did.
Exactly, Peter. I'm watching the game. I'm thinking, shoot, get your shot in. You know, the ball's come all the way across the goal. He's come to Donadoni on the back post, and you think to yourself, go on, get your shot in. You've got a chance. He doesn't take his shot, pulls it back to Albertini, and he slams it against the post.
Don Howe was so excited then, Don. I thought your hat was going to fall off for a minute. Baggio taking the corner. Toldo came but didn't collect. Here's Albertini, who hit the post last week. He's yet to score in Serie A this season. Onside, Baggio. Maldini was in the centre. If Baggio could have delivered the cross then. Baggio. This is Robbiati on the break for Fiorentina. Not too many options ahead of him. But there was one in Brackley. Rui Costa now. Maldini just eating up the ground ahead of Piacentini, but he's fought back well, Piacentini, until he was penalised for over-exuberance. Works hard though, Piacentini, a fixture in the side really since his move from Roma. Now Simone making his entrance, and it's Baggio who's going to go off yet again. His 16th substitution in 24 matches. But he's getting a tremendous reception from the crowd.
It does seem to be a regular thing. I mean, most matches now, he never makes that last 20 minutes. All right, I mean, Simone's very quick, and he's sharp up front, and he will liven things up, if they need to liven things up, because in general, I mean, it's, like I said before, it's wave after wave of attack from Milan, especially down that right flank.
So Baggio yet again fails to finish the match. Rui Costa to Piacentini. Desai. Now Baresi. The flick on by Weah, but read by Padalino. It's Sotil now. Padalino again.
George Weah, he's absolutely worked his tail off. I mean, there's no doubt about it. He's been here, there and everywhere, George Weah, and he does need someone up there as lively as what he's been the first hour or so of the game. And he's made diagonal runs down the left, diagonal runs down the right. He's picked it up deep, he's got it wide.
Donadoni. Simone. Weah. Carlasciale holding off Simone, who of course has lost his regular place in the team since the arrival of Weah and Baggio. Coes. Now Rui Costa. It's been a fascinating contest in midfield, the strength of Desai against the guile of Rui Costa. Now here is a change. And it's Flucky who's going to come on in place of Robbiati. Well, he's worked tirelessly. Robbiati without too much reward. Had an early chance, didn't he?
I thought he did very well. Here again, he's had a lot of the ball. He's tried to do the right things with the ball. He's kept it simple, played it on, moved it around. It's been hard to pick up. He's come off that back four and come deep every now and again. Come into spaces where he can pick the ball up.
20 minutes to go, and the Milan fans already celebrating. Wonderful scenes around the San Siro Stadium. But this is Rui Costa now. Taking on Baresi, Brackley lurking around that 6-yard area with Costa Curta in attendance. You just feel, Don, that things might happen when Rui Costa is on the ball.
Yeah. I mean, every now and again on the break, they do look dangerous, Fiorentina.
Rui Costa taking the corner kick. Hooked back in by Sotil. Piacentini. Rui Costa. Here's Simone. Good tackle by Piacentini. I'm just being told that Juventus have pulled a goal back now. 2-1 down to Roma. No goal by Capioli. That's given them fresh hope there. Meantime, Iranio is going to make his entrance in place of Savicevic. So maybe looking just to tighten things up a little.
Yeah.
Iranio will settle in down that right side, I'm sure. Does a good, solid job for Milan whenever he's called upon. Iranio, a player who's had his problems with injuries. Kept out of the team today by Donadoni. And indeed by Savicevic.
I thought Iranio was absolutely outstanding for Genoa. I remember when they played Liverpool a few years ago, and he played kind of in the right back, wing back position. And he kept breaking from deep. Really was a terrific performance.
Well, let's get another word from George Graham. I don't think there's any doubt, George, now that Milan are heading for the title.
I think so. I mean, it just sees what winning the championships are all about. I don't think they've been at their best today in Milan, but they're relentless this second half. They just keep pushing forward and forward all the time. It's actually amazing that they keep on taking Baggio off, you know, a world-class striker, and yet it doesn't seem to have been fitted into this Milan system. But again, it wouldn't surprise me if Milan get another 1 or 2 now.
Thanks, George. Cross from Panucci. Simone. Not a bad man to have in reserve. Simone. Donadoni. Simone again. Away from Coes, but not from Carnashali. Rui Costa still tugging the strings for Fiorentina. But overhitting his pass there for Brackley, who's looked a bit frustrated by it all this afternoon. Up against these class defenders, Costa Curta and Baresi. Off goes Weah now. Powering past Amoruso. Beyond Simone. Piacentini now backtracking.
You're looking for the left winger there to come in on the end of that one. If you're bombed on down the right flank, the left flank, obviously Donadoni in this case, he should have been there on that back post.
Piacentini. Now Amoruso. Costa Curta going into the back there of Brackley. Just doesn't allow his man to turn. Costa Curta, he's so quick in with the tackle, but too quick there for the liking of referee Cinciolapini. Bertoni making his entrance then. And it's Brackley who's being replaced. It's been a hard afternoon's graft and toil for him. So Federico Bertoni, the midfielder, is now on. Just a 1 start in Serie A this season. He's very much a fringe player, really. Rui Costa's chip. We're inside the last quarter of an hour. Hooked away by Desai. Albertini. Now Sotil. Carnashali. Savicevic down on the bench. Piacentini. Baresi almost got into a bit of a tangle then.
Yeah, he read it well, but didn't play the ball properly.
Is that Savicevic Jr., I would think?
It looks like it, yeah.
If not, what's he doing there?
I breed them young at Milan.
Could be a prize in a raffle, I suppose. A day out with Savicevic. A day out with Don Howe was second prize, apparently. Simone on for Donadoni. Lovely skill by Donadoni, and it's there, Simone. He's forced it in. 3-1 to Milan, and that surely has settled it now.
Well, we got a little bit of magic from Donadoni, a little Cruyff turn on that byline, pulled it back to Simone, and I don't think Simone got there first, he got there second, and the defender played it on to Simone, and then he flew into the net. Watch as they come together there.
He's razor sharp, Simone. Told her a little unlucky.
Well, that's
76 minutes, the third goal for Milan. It's all over now.
Well, yeah, it is. I mean, he can get you a goal, Batman there. He's quick, he's sharp, he's good in the box, Simone. And although the defender's got there, he puts a challenge in. And it's the defender plays it into Simone's foot and he flashes into the net.
In the Olympic Stadium, meantime, it's now 2-2. Roma 2, Juventus 2. Padovano with a second goal for Juve. But it doesn't matter if this score stays the same. Milan are going to be champions. Simone has been cautioned for taking his shirt off, over-celebrating. Mind you, Baggio did the same thing, didn't he, when he scored?
Yeah.
One rule for one. Now, this is dangerous. Well, the shot was a take one in the end, though. No problem for Rossi. From Flacky. Donadoni, way up. Coe's trying to hold him back. And careless set Weah and giving it away. Albertini, Weah down injured. And the referee now has brought play back.
It's either a knock on the ankle or cramp. But the amount of running he's done today.
Not on the score sheet as yet, but once again we've seen his awesome strength up front. Caught by the tackle from Sotil.
When you see him in today's form, you can understand why he's become the player of the world, or the player of Europe. I mean, all these awards he's won. He's got a terrific attitude to the position he plays. He realises he has to work, and he's not going to get terrific reward straight away, but he keeps going, and in the end he gets his reward. He picks up his goal, or he gets an assist, and he's forever making his runs, and he takes bumps and knocks, and he picks himself up and gets on with it. He's a terrific example to the rest of the players out there.
Wonderful scenes around the San Siro. Just over 10 minutes now before the celebrations can really get underway. Bertoni to Coes.
And the other thing I'm amazed by is how Donadoni can be let go. I mean, you see him, he works up, he knows the system, he can play wide, he tucks into midfield when they lose the ball. He's forever closing down. Here he is now on the ball. And how can they let him go?
Coes for Fiorentina. Well, he'll certainly be sadly missed, that's for sure, Donadoni. The American League's gain is Milan's loss.
Yep.
Hasn't always been a fixture, has he, Donadoni, this season, but he certainly had a run recently when he seemed to be first choice again. Still quarter to head away from Batoni.
The thing about Donadoni, he can play both flanks. He can play centre midfield if you need him to.
Carnashali. Into the last 10 minutes, Franco Baresi. Simone's turn was well read by Parolino. Coes. Hoisted away by Maldini. Then Donadoni to Desai. He's had a storming game in midfield. Weah. Slipped away from Schwartz. Iranio. Simone prepared to chase the early ball. He's dragged Amoruso out here with him. Now Desai. Donadoni on for Weah, who's found some space down this left side. Still George Weah. And again. Padalino in the way of the first one.
Well, he's been going non-stop now for an hour and 20 minutes. It's wonderful stuff. He keeps finding space all over the pitch.
Hasn't scored since the end of February now, George Weah. He's got 10 in all in Serie A. 14 in all competitions in now 33 competitive games. And of course, he was a league title with Paris Saint-Germain a couple of years back, George Weah. The first African to win the European and World titles of the year, Player of the Year.
And in my book, Peter, deservedly so. Because he mixes hard work with skill and vice versa.
Maldini. Donadoni taking over from him. Baresi. It's a stroll now for Milan. Maldini. They really have regained their appetite again this season after finishing the last one with absolutely nothing for the first time under Capello. Orlando is going to come on here late on. In place of Rui Costa.
He didn't do so well the second half, did he, Peter?
Didn't really get a grip on it, did he?
No, didn't get on the ball enough times for me. You need your best skillful players on the ball all the time.
So Massimo Orlando, who was on loan to Milan last season, getting his chance now. Did make only a couple of Serie A appearances though, and he has been held back by injuries. Baresi. Maldini. This will be Maldini's fourth Scudetto. Panucci swinging over the cross. Oh. My word, that was close.
Do you think he meant it, Peter?
Well, Toldo wasn't to know. I wonder.
The keeper just played well off his line, and that's more like a shot than it is a cross.
I think he had one eye on Simone there.
Yeah.
It nearly sneaked in.
And then we could have said, I told her so.
I can't believe you just said that. I wasn't going to mention your hats, but I will now. What are you planning for Euro 96 hat-wise? A boater, a straw boater?
Yes, I think so. I think the old golf hat, a Greg Norman or something like that.
Well, we'll look forward to that. Possibly. Amoruso to Coes. Now Carnashali. Batoni. Look how quickly Brackley was closed down then by those Milan defenders. Still working so hard. We're into the last 5 minutes. They're 3-1 up, and still they're chasing the game. Still prepared to battle on.
They're just expected to do it, Peter. I mean, day after day in training, they have to get on with it and they have to keep going. And there's no easing up from Milan. 3-1 up, 6-1 up, 10-1 up, they would be the same. They never take their foot off the pedal, do they? They keep coming forward, wave after wave of attack.
Maldini. This is Baresi. Costa Quarter. Milan know the title is theirs now. Maldini to Donadoni, who'll be leaving Milan on a high. Albertini to Maldini. Here's Simone. Padalino sticking with him. I think he's enhanced his reputation today, Padalino.
Yep.
The last 2 seasons he's been involved in relegation fights and losing ones too, with Lecce and with Foggia. Different story this season with Fiorentina challenging at the top end of the table. But that challenge has faltered. And I think we've seen why today against the might of Milan. Weah's cross. It's all about consistency, and week in, week out, Milan have really let their fans down.
Yeah, this fella's played well, Amoruso and Padalino. They're good players. Good defenders, and they are comfortable on the ball.
Simone with the corner. One in the air by Desai, but nothing to deter Toldo.
Yeah, he keeps coming late on the back post for those right-wing corners.
Di Canio, hoping he'll get a late chance to show what he can do here. Certainly been part of the championship success, Di Canio, without featuring all that often, but he's done well when he's come on as a substitute. One or two useful goals along the way from Di Canio. Certainly a change around in this game after that bright start by Fiorentina when they took the early lead through Rui Costa. But we've seen again today the measure of Milan, the character of Milan, in the way they've transformed this match. Albertini to Costa Quarter, now Baresi. It's going to be some party tonight. Bracey. This is Costa Quarter. They're just toying with Fiorentina now. Weah to Maldini. It's some sight, Don, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I think when the San Siro is full as it is today, the atmosphere is terrific. The noise is fantastic. I mean, you can't hear yourself move or obviously speak.
Saved by Toldo. Got tapped well then. Donadoni with a strike. And he had to scramble across that, Toldo.
Good recovery as well when the ball got away from him. He was on his feet and across and cleared things up nicely.
Battoni. On by Orlando. This is Piacentini. Didn't really embarrass Rossi in any way, though. What about this goalkeeping situation then, Don? Rossi may be departing, although we don't know what's going to happen with him, but it does seem Toldo is going to replace him.
Yeah, that's the rumours, that's the stories, that's the newspaper articles. Obviously, I don't see Rossi play every week. We see him every now and again, and more times than not, he does his job quite well. And like today, he saved a penalty, and you tend to think, what's all the criticism about? Whether I've got to say this for Toldo, he is a good young prospect. And
4 minutes of stoppage time. Just to interrupt you there, Don, will be play. We saw the board.
And that's where he'll do well for Man. If Toldo gets into the Milan team, when he does that sweeping behind this back four, because they do push up all the time, Milan, and play offside, and they need a goalkeeper who can read it well.
Offside against Simone. But it's been again overall an impressive display by Milan, who are going to bring on Di Canio here right at the end. In place of George Weah. And you can hear the reception that he's getting. Oh, he's going to enjoy this moment, is George Weah. His first championship in Italy. Hope he's not cautioned for taking his shirt off.
They're going easy with him. He's only playing for about 25 minutes. Taking things easy then.
He's given his shirt to the referee.
Yeah.
He'll be wanting one of your hats next.
Yeah.
Young Savicevic down on the benches, and he's very worried, Don, about this night out with you. He said he didn't understand that was a prize at all. He wants to have his ticket back. Lamorusso with Sottil. And Fiorentina, in the end, have been a well-beaten side. And they certainly gave it a go. And were well in contention, really, until the second goal went in for Milan just before half-time. That seemed to kill them off. And the challenge has somewhat dwindled in the second period. Donadoni played in for Simone! Great stop by Toldo. Iranio. Still Iranio until he's outmanoeuvred at the end.
Like you said, Peter, it was a great save by Toldo. I mean, he turned away from the goal and got his shot in, Simone, and he had to spread himself and get his legs to the ball and cover as much as the goal as he could.
Pure reactions. Here's Simone now. Di Canio in the centre. Simone's cross. Here's Iranio. Well, he's been absolutely tremendous this season, George Weah. What a signing. The first time really for some time, or since Van Basten, that Milan have had a target man as such.
Yes.
Coes, we've had now 3 minutes then of stoppage time.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. It was money well spent when they bought George Weah.
Orlando teasing Desai. He might play for that. Now Di Canio. One last flourish maybe here from Milan. Di Canio is fresh as a daisy. Good strike too.
Good run, Peter, huh? Good run. Great excitement. First he ran from the right wing right the way through to the edge of the D.
The final whistle has been blown and Milan are champions of Italy. Their fourth title in 5 years, their 15th overall, has been secured in front of their own adoring supporters. Another Scudetto triumph for the coaching supremo Fabio Capello. A man who it seems is heading for new challenges in Spain next season with Real Madrid. Well, domestically, he's ending his astonishing spell with Milan on yet another success. His record here really does make astonishing reading. Since he took over from Arrigo Sacchi, he's won the European Cup, 4 league titles now. Whoever succeeds him, if he does go, will have to go some to emulate that run of success. Capello may have wondered himself how he could follow Sacchi. Well, he's done that and more. One of the great coaches of modern times has placed himself at the very pinnacle of the Italian game through his phenomenal achievements. And no doubt at all, Don, how Milan are very worthy champions.
Peter, if I was Mr. Berlusconi, the president of Milan, I'd be down in that dressing room now getting Capello to fight. It's a sign at least. Here he is now, and look, he's got tears in his eyes, and he's very emotional. And with all the things he's won, it's wonderful. And it's still, and Baresi's the same. I mean, this is the true professional. For all the things they've won over the years, I mean, Baresi's been in World Cup finals and all that. And you know, people like this, people who really feel for the game, whatever the circumstances, you don't let those people leave your club. You get hold of them and you give them as long a contract and as much money as you can get, because you're not gonna find it people like that as easily as that. And Capello is a real, all right, he learnt his trade off Sachi. But I mean, he has been wonderful, and if I was Mr. Berlusconi, there's no way he would get out that stadium tonight without signing a new contract.
Well, these are very, very emotional scenes. Donadoni having his farewell say before he leaves the San Siro, leaves for the American League. Let's catch up then with George Graham, with James Richardson, and hear their views now as we enjoy the celebrations.
Thank you, Peter. Well, they've been waiting for this celebration for a while. They thought they might have tied it up last week in Turin. I think most people, though, especially the fans, obviously from Milan, are happy that they're doing it here in their home, the San Siro. Very emotional scenes. George, I mean, you won titles. Capello in tears. You ever see your lip trembling a bit there?
Oh, it's wonderful, really. I mean, it just brings out the great emotion, you know, from the fans and the camaraderie of all the players and the bond between the supporter and the actual player on the pitch. And this is what it's all about. You know, when you actually compete over a period of 9 or 10 months, you know, and this is the reward you get at the end of it. And it's been a habit for Milan. You know, they remind me a bit like Liverpool. They've done it now over a decade, starting off with Sacchi and then followed by Capello.
Right.
And they've not changed their tactics. They've a system of way of playing, and they've kept to it, and they keep on winning titles and titles.
Okay, well, we've seen Capello in tears there. It does look like goodbye from him now. He said he's going to make his announcement on Tuesday. He's been waiting for Milan to settle the title. If he does go away, the likeliest candidate to replace him is a Uruguayan, Oscar Washington Tabarez. Do you think it's going to be that easy? It's always difficult to repeat a title-winning season, but with a new coach?
Well, if they bring in a new coach and new ideas, that will be difficult. Well, what's happened is Capello's actually just come in after Sacchi, and he's just carried on playing the same way. This is Baresi. You know, 36 years of age. As Don says, still the brains behind the defence. He's the organiser. He's the general in the field of battle. He leads the back four, brings inspiration to the rest of the team.
Right, that's the Milan vice president there, that edifying shot of Galliani, the man who actually really runs the team while Berlusconi's off playing politics. But Milan, another player they're going to be saying goodbye to, of course, Roberto Donadoni. He really is leaving right after this game. As soon as they finish their titles chase, he's flying off to the New York, New Jersey Metro All-Stars, who are obviously involved in the Major League Soccer.
Yeah, that's a bit surprised. I think he's got another couple of years in him at this level. And I thought he had a very good, one of his better games today. I thought he was excellent today, Donadoni. But it just shows you that Milan can get rid of these type of players, these quality players, and just go out and replace them by getting new ones.
It's going to be difficult for them to find a replacement for that man there. We've just seen Baresi.
Oh, Baresi, unbelievable. But today I saw a very good player today, Padolino. I thought he was outstanding today, along with Toldo, the Fiorentina goalkeeper. But there'll always be players to replace the great players. Wonderful sights, absolutely wonderful.
Capello there held a lot. Is there one player you think, I mean, George Weah won so much acclaim earlier on around Christmas with the World Player of the Year, the European Player of the Year. One player, though, that you'd select as the man of the season for Milan?
No, I would say there's 4 players that me especially like, you know. I think they've got this mental strength that you must have in all successful teams. That is Baresi and Maldini at the back, and Desai and Albertini in midfield. And with those 4 players of not only great physical strength, but mental strength, then you can play your Savicevic and your Baggio and your talented players, but you must need the mental and physical strength of their great players backing them up all the time.
Okay, and strength and depth, of course. So the title goes to Milan. A lot else to sort out, though, especially the UEFA positions. Let's find out how the top of the table stands now with Peter.
Well, confirmation then that Milan are champions. Juventus drawing 2-2 with Roma at the moment. I don't think that game's quite finished yet. 9-point advantage then that Milan have. Fiorentina back in 3rd place on 56. Parma and Lazio and Roma challenging behind them, along with Inter, Sampdoria and Vicenza. Remember, as many as, well, right down to 7th could qualify for Europe next season. Bottom of the table, 3 teams now have been definitely relegated. Torino are going down, along with Cremonese and Padova. Bari still fighting for survival, along with the likes of Piacenza, Atalanta, and even Cagliari there. So that's it then. The Champions League will welcome Milan's re-entry into the fold for next season. Europe, beware, mighty Milan are hungry to take on the elite of the continent again, and deservedly so. Back from Don Howe and Peter Brackley to you, James, with George.
Thank you, Peter. Well, George, really just remains to say, team of the decade.
Yeah, without question. I think Ajax have taken the mantle up in the last couple of years in Europe, but for me, AC Milan, definitely, without question.
Excellent. Well, thank you for joining us today on this momentous afternoon here at the San Siro. Time for us to leave you now. We'll just mention, though, that on Saturday morning I'll, of course, be back with Gazetta, all the reaction to Milan's title, all the news on the relegation and the UEFA place battles, and, of course, the latest on what Capello thinks he's doing with the rest of his career. Now, I think we will leave you with the one or two final shots of this celebration, the fourth title in 5 years for the Rossoneri.